Andrew McCart, IFLTV, delighted to be joined by Sonny Edwards. Well, let's just jump straight into it, Sonny. Breaking news. Conor Benn has signed with Sufa Boxing and Dana White. I mean, you just brought your son here. You sat down for 5 minutes and went, what? Like that. You were shocked as everybody when you heard the news. Just tell me your initial reaction to this.
Yeah, Parsons messaged me. Oh, have you seen about Ben? And I went, no. I can't lie. I don't even want to say what I thought. What I thought the news was coming out. Do you know what I mean? Very, very surprised. Very, very surprised. Obviously, I can't lie. I've already done a couple of interviews, so I'm sort of rehashing the same opinion. Well, shocked, surprised. If you want loyalty, buy a dog. Don't sign a boxer. But he was obviously in a place where contractually he could speak to other people, obviously. And you can't begrudge a fighter for doing what's best for them, in my opinion. You cannot begrudge a fighter for taking the money that will change, okay, not change his life, he's a millionaire, multi-millionaire, but will put him in a much stronger position to provide for the next generations of his family, etc. And you can't begrudge it, because promoters in boxing, I'm not talking about this specific case, but promoters in boxing, if they're losing money on a fighter, that's when the fighter usually disappears after a while, do you know what I mean? Or gets put in the deep end, and if they don't come back, we can't do anything. That is usually typically what happens. We've seen fighters be shelved, we've seen fighters go from prospect to in the away corner and the sort of B-side within one night, you know? And there's probably many of those fighters right now going, go on, Conor, fair play, do what's best for you. And it shocked everyone. Obviously, as a part of, you know, the Matchroom side of things, I'm a bit disappointed. I think they've done a fantastic job. I put building Conor Benn for the level of fight he may really be.
From the beginning.
But the level of fighter that I saw, and probably for the most part kind of still see, isn't elite. He's not top tier, but he's been built into a star. Now, I know it helps when you've got a famous last name and an icon of boxing as a dad, but he's also had to go in there and do it. And Matchroom have given the platform. They've matched the fights right. Yep. They've kept his ball rolling. They supported him and stood by him through times when a lot of people are ready to wipe their hands and sort of step back. And, okay, you can argue that maybe if he was a much smaller fighter, they wouldn't have been as supportive, but we don't know that. The truth is, and the facts are, that they really did stand by him. Eddie, Frank, the whole of Matchroom, they stood by him. They got him as active as they could, as soon as they could, with everything that was going on, and they made the fights that he wanted, and you know, they negotiated well and got the contractual stipulations that he wanted, as well as the money he wanted, etc. And they've built him into a star outside of boxing. Obviously a star of boxing, but people outside of boxing that don't really watch too much of it know who he is, and that's not an easy job. It isn't an easy job. Even with a famous dad in boxing, you still need to have the platform, you still need to have the storylines. He's done his end of the bargain, getting in there, beating people, winning, selling a fight, being exciting, etc. But it's like you can see both sides. And as much as I will continuously and as my main point of focus be, you can never begrudge a fighter for doing what's best for them, because we're the ones that get in the ring and get our face punched in. We're the ones that are putting our pride and our reputation and our ego in the ring. We're doing that. We're the ones making the sacrifices, doing the training, doing the miles, doing the rounds. So if you make a decision for your best interest as a fighter, then fair play to you. If I was any sort of part of Conor's team, I would have made this as seamless and as respectful and as cordial with Matchroom as possible, because
he's released a statement. Have you seen the statement?
I've not seen that.
Basically, the statement says, obviously, he's thanking Eddie and Matchroom for what they've done. Then he's also said that he would still like Eddie to be part of his team.
Yes.
Now, again,
and I think, and that, well, they're
how does that work? How does that work?
Easy. Give him 3%. Give him 2%. Give him 1%. He's making millions. It would be good money to just turn up for Eddie to keep him on. And then the moment that there's off a thing and all the big paydays go, come back business as usual. And that's the way that he should do it, I think, because he's had so much loyalty. There's no point burning the bridge for something that has only just started. Right now they're paying that much money, but if they give him, say, 50 mil, I don't know what the numbers they're talking about, but let's just say 50 mil they're giving him.
8 figures are saying, yes. Yeah,
so what's eight figures? That's
over 10 million.
10 million, yeah. But I don't know if that's 10 million, 12 million, 50 million, 80 million. We don't know what the number that he's agreed to fight for. But let's just say mid 8 figures. Let's just go for 50. Said to go for 50 for him, and then I don't know. I've heard people mentioning Ryan Garcia potentially as an opposition or whatever. They're gonna have to pay him a lot as well. Now, let's say that event absolutely tanks. In one night, they've lost potentially 50, 60, 70 million. And they're not going to keep doing that.
No.
And this is, I've heard, is a one-fight deal as the main thing about it. So don't burn the bridges of where you've come from, in my opinion. And as he said about Eddie being a part, I think it'd be fantastic if Eddie could be like a co-manager. Eddie could be a co-manager.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And at that point, Eddie will be like, yeah, go and fight on Zafar. Have they got any more fights? Do you know what I mean? Why are they overpaying? Because if he offered the same money that Eddie was earning, there's no way he's going to go and put on them Zafar shorts. No way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If it's the same money on the table. Now, if Matchroom are offering him 8, 10, 12, 15, but Zafar are offering him 30, 40, 50, whatever the disparity is, that's enough money on the table where you can't not get in the ring for that.
How much is too much money?
No such thing in this world. No, money's infinite.
But is loyalty still a thing then?
It's still a thing, but as long as when there's that much money on the table, Eddie is a businessman. Eddie understands business, and he understands millions because he's a millionaire. So if you're looking to make this many millions and say on this plan that we're trying to go take 3, 4, 5 fights potentially to get there, then Eddie's going to answer, you're going to have to do that. Yeah. You're going to have to. And now if Eddie can stay, which probably is the case, if that's the statement, Eddie's not going to just be like, oh, nah, Conor, get to fuck. He's not going to say that at all. Do you know what I mean? He would be a part. Chuck him a percentage on like a management deal. Even if you take it off the management, they're making that much now that the percent must be fantastic. So there's still ways you can do it. He might go have one fight and then come back being a Matchroom show next time. So it's not as big news as it seems. But right now, this is probably the biggest news in boxing outside of something happening in the ring in live time since Conor failed the drugs test. Really, I'm struggling to think of anything that's been more of like a wow. Do you know what I mean?
I probably agree with that, Sonny. But and
we love scandals.
We do.
Scandals bring eyes, attention. Scandals are sexy in boxing. Even the dirty ones. Scandals are sexy.
I think for me it was more of a shock because I thought you look at Eddie and Conor and you see that sort of relationship. They've been there from the beginning together, and the fact that you hear Eddie go on about Dana White and what Dana's doing and this, that, and the next, and back and forth, and then to see Conor go over there, you're almost like sitting back and you're lost for words, which I almost am. It's like. It's a big shock, a massive, massive shock.
But you know why I'm buzzing?
Why?
Because we're going to see Eddie Hearn stretch his legs. We're going to see, because I can't lie, and it's not just because I work with the commentary and stuff with Matchroom. I genuinely believe in terms of modern day promoter of boxing, front of house, speaking, delivering storylines, etc. I don't think there's anyone that can really compete with Eddie in the 360 of things. Knowing from working with them as a fighter and other side, they're the most professional outfit that I've really, really worked with, and they have a good system, a good team, etc. So I think this, if anything, is going to inspire, Eddie really pushing on. And okay, you're challenging us, coming for our fight. You're overpaying him just to sort of be. That's the story. Good luck. You're probably going to lose loads of money on that fight if you've way overpaid him. Good luck, and we're going to see Eddie stretch his legs. And all I'm saying is they're trying to do the UFC model in boxing for the boxers. If Eddie Hearn ran with the business model of boxing into mixed martial arts, I think he'd take over that game very, very quickly. I think he'd do it in double speed. So maybe that will be another branch of Matchroom sport coming out now. And I think that would be the move I would make if I was Eddie, but I'm not. Eddie's a lot more advanced and understands the business of promoting boxing very well. But I'm excited to see him stretch his legs. I really am. And it's
going to be exciting to see what Eddie says.
But Eddie has fighters in the same weight divisions that they could fight. Now, Conor.
And who's behind me?
Yeah, and we've been wanting to see Josh and Conor from years ago. That was like the fight that we thought we were seeing.
Who did? They poached Zuffa.
but in all seriousness, like, how much of a spectacle would that be? You know, Dana White representing Conor Benn, Eddie Hearn representing Josh. I can't lie, I think Josh would beat him every single day of the week, twice on a Sunday.
You say that because he's here?
No, because Conor's had great success. No, Conor's had great success. And what is the biggest surprise? And he'll probably agree. The biggest surprise is when you actually look at Conor, the level he actually operates, for me, isn't a particularly high one. He's rugged, he's strong, he's explosive, but he's been very, very matched in his favour the whole way. His biggest wins outside of the Chris Eubank has been against retired fighters that weren't even elite when they were at their prime, and they've been weight dragged up, etc. And, you know, the reason why probably Conor Benn never fought Josh Kelly earlier is because there's probably a gulf in levels, but it's fights we'd love to see. It'd be events, it'd be a spectacle, it would capture the imagination. But with all that said, even though obviously I'm Team Matchroom in this conversation, really, you can never begrudge a fighter for doing what's best for them, ever, and I won't ever, and fair play to him, but I just wouldn't have burnt the bridge. And you said his statement about Eddie,
his statement
they're
says,
thinking the same.
Yep.
And it's just a right way of doing stuff. If he picked up the phone a couple of weeks ago and said, Eddie, look, they're offering me ridiculous money. I can't not take this. How are we going to do this? And gave Eddie a few days to wrap. Okay, what we're going to do is you're going to go. I'll still be part of the team, even if it's in the background for this one fight. And then come back, chuck him a little drink on the percentage so he feels like he's not been taking the piss out of, and Dana's put money in his pocket. And then the ball was still rolling as soon as Zuffa had done paying him.
Yeah.
But new promoters, especially with big backing, always come and disrupt. We saw it with Boxer, we saw it with Turkey Al Sheikh and the Saudis. Now we're seeing it with Zuffa. In the initial setup phase, they will way overpay to disrupt the market and attract people. Eddie had to do it when he went to America the first time. He had to pay them a little bit more to get them away from the current system. But now Eddie's set up where he doesn't have to overpay, so he can bid properly for the purse. But if he loses and they overpay into what Matchroom think the fight's worth, then Eddie's getting a percentage on the backdrop of it, so it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? And that's the business that Matchroom have set up. And like I said, I can't see Conor burning bridges with Eddie. I think it'd be stupid to. And I can't see Eddie burning full bridges with Conor, because I think it'd be stupid to both ways. I think they're very good for each other. They've both done very well for each other. And, you know, I think it's exciting. I can't lie.
Yeah, me too.
I am getting a buzz off this because, like I said, I think we're going to see Eddie Hearn show everyone who he is a little bit more, because he's going to have a little bit of it bit in his teeth. And right now, it's all, Zuffa's done it. But anyone with a big pot of money can overpay for one fight and get a fighter. They can get any fighter in the world if you're overpaying. Any fighter in the world. And the promoter will probably send them willingly if they're overpaying.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
So that's just the way it is.
Sonny, I won't keep you much longer. I give your son a chance here. A code signal to let me know when he's ready for this interview to finish.
Has he given the signal?
He gave it about 5 minutes ago.
Ah.
So we've overran.
He's gave the signal.
He's gave the signal. We've overran. So, Sonny, as always, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.
I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, mate.